Like I say, one of the big things that happened at this church was it was on a Sunday night. I remember that pretty well. And the local fire department, Central Heights Fire Department, got the call at 11:42 p.m. They came down and they saw what was happening, and there was mostly smoke because the building at that time was not on fire. And there'd been two young men, two boys that had broken in. They kind of ransacked the office a little bit, and then they decided to set all this on fire in here. And so the covering on the pews was burning, but the building was pretty tight, and so the fire literally ran out of oxygen. So it was totally a loss in here, but it didn't burn down the building. So that was a big deal. But one of the big things for us in my lifetime was actually even building this building, because we had set a goal back then. This was in I think 1985 of $50,000 for a down payment, and that might as well have been $50 million for us. But I do believe God moved upon some people's hearts. Everybody gave what they could. I even know of some people that gave all the savings they had because they really believed in what we were doing. And so that was a momentous time, and we built it, and never a hitch, never any trouble. The biggest argument came with just picking the color of the carpet, of all things. And it was a pretty big event when we decided to build our Life Center back there. Fortunately, we had it. The shell was already up, and a lot of it was finished when we had the fire and had no place to worship. All we had to do was just move back there. We never missed a single service. Well, there's not but one thing that keeps it alive, and that's Jesus Christ, of course. But the people have to have a vision. And, attendance, like with any church, is up and down. But it's our job to make sure that the Lord's work continues. And so part of doing that is, like, we got a pretty good sermon today from our pastor, Homer Murray, about people have to pray, and they have to pray earnestly. And we know we need to do more than that, but there's generations likely coming after us. I would not want to be the last generation that had church here. And so there's always the promise, if we'll do what God asks us to do, then He will deliver. We don't have to worry about that. There were people 150 years ago that decided they needed a church in this community. And we needed one then, and I know we still need one now. So the 150 years to me mostly means that, well, we've made it that far now, let's go another 150. That's what I would hope for.